Welcome back. In the last video, we created a function predict to map our images of food to an ML model, in our case, our FNet B2 model, our best performing model in terms of our criteria for Food Vision Mini, to outputs. And we've got a dictionary mapping each of the classes to a prediction probability and a prediction time, which is what's going to give us this nice output here. So if we click on this image of sushi, because our function maps to a dictionary, Gradio can easily format this into this. And if we had more classes, this would adapt to it too. And we get to see how long each prediction took there as well. So this is what we're moving towards creating. So let's keep pushing forward. What do we want to do now? Well, we want a list of examples. So that way, if someone didn't have an image handy, they could just try out the example and see how our machine learning model works. So let's go 7.3, creating a list of example images. Now, what examples you create will of course depend on the demo you're creating. If you're working with text files or audio files, you could create them, your examples, based on those. But of course, we're working on Food Vision Mini. We're going to be creating a list of example images. And so if we go into Gradio, there is, this is the parameter we want to work with. We're going to create an interface eventually, but we want to pass in some examples. So the format that the examples comes in is a list of lists. So I might link to this. Just grab that, building demos. The examples for Gradio can be created with the examples parameter. So see here, there's the documentation for more, but let's create a list of example inputs to our Gradio demo. And we'll see what this looks like in a second, and we'll see it in practice later on. So example list, I want to set this, I'm going to use another list comprehension. Gradio, as I said before, the examples, one of the formats is a list of lists. So see there, list. So that's what we're going to put out in as our input. And I want a string of file paths for file path in, this is where random comes in helpful as well, test data paths, and I want to get maybe 3 examples. K equals 3. Now let's just see what this looks like. Example list. What have I done wrong? Typo, classic. There we go, beautiful. So what I've done is we've got our random sample list. Or do we have that up here? Oh yeah, let's print it out. So this is our test data paths. Example test data path. And what I've done is I've just selected 3 of these at random. Test data paths. We'll have a look at test data paths. So I've looped through this list going, hey, take this POSIX path, turn it into a string, because Gradio likes to work with strings, for each file path in a random sample of test data paths. So if we just selected this, all this is going to do is turn these into strings. Beautiful. So there's 3 random, it's going to be different every time. So that's all we need to do. Now, my challenge to you, this one is going to be possibly one of the biggest challenges we've done so far, because we haven't actually worked with Gradio, but that is to build a Gradio interface. So we've now got all of the pieces of the puzzle. So let's use gr.interface to go from, what do we want to do? Input, image, to transform, to predict with FNet B2, to output, pred prob, time. And how do we do this? Well, you can use the interface class. The function we're going to use is our predict function. The inputs is going to be image, and the outputs is going to be some form of label. This one will be a bit tricky because we want 2 outputs, but Give it a shot. Try to create a demo using this kind of line of code here. The function will be our predict function. The inputs will be a Gradio image, so you can see that here. And the outputs will be some kind of label. And the examples, of course, will be our example list. So give that a shot, and we'll do it together in the next video. We'll bring Food Vision Mini to life. I'll see you there.